Welcome, Warriors, to Volume 4 of WHS TV. I'm your host, Ian Wolney.
And I'm Cody Coleman.
Coming up in this episode, we find out how the Varsity Cheer team destroyed their competition at their last meet.
Next, we meet a local woman who has been battling it with an illness for a majority of her life.
And finally, we learn how a WHS student found out how to turn a hobby into a hustle.
All this and more coming up in WHS TV Volume 4.
Our Woodhaven cheer team has been performing incredibly this year, and on February 20th at the Wyandotte Invitational, they showed why they were the best team in Michigan.
WHS TV reporters Madi Vasquez and Kate Wagatha have the story.
The Woodhaven Warriors varsity cheer team competed at the Wyandotte Invitational that took place on February 20th. The Warriors ended up taking over the Bears' Den and finished with the first place title and a final score of 746.46. Senior and varsity competitive cheerleader Marisela Vasquez gives her insight on what the Warriors did to prepare for this year's competition season.
We prepared ourselves by just putting in as many reps as we can and just focusing on us and only us. Practices now, we have to wear our masks all the time. We can't have them below our nose. We focus on keeping them up, and if something does happen, we try to just get our masks up as fast as we can, and we just try to stay away from each other as much as possible.
Although the mask mandate has posed challenges for athletes, the Woodhaven cheer team has a positive attitude heading into this season.
I think that masks have helped us actually, because when we are doing stunts and jumps, it gives us more stamina, I feel.
This season, competitions have changed drastically due to the coronavirus restrictions.
For our competitions, we can only have 4 teams competing at one school. We have to spread out a lot from different teams. We always have to have our masks on, and we're not allowed to change our uniforms.
Woodhaven was placed as the top scorer in all 3 rounds on the 20th. The Warriors improved their score by a total of 60 points more than their previous competition. For Marisela Vasquez, I'm Kate Wagatha reporting for WHS TV.
On March 9th, the cheer team will be competing at the Downriver League meet at Roseville High School in Wyandotte.
In our next story, Natalie Wolney faces a chronic illness that she has been dealing with all her life.
WHS TV reporter Ian Wolney has the story.
Natalie Wolney is a Woodhaven alumni who was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes back in 2016, a chronic illness that she has been dealing with for years.
So diabetes is a chronic illness that affects the pancreas and makes it not produce insulin. If you're type 1, which is what I am, it's genetic, it's irreversible, you have to take insulin for the rest of your life. So I have an insulin pump and a sensor, so what the insulin pump does is it gives me insulin throughout the day, and whenever I eat something I have to count my carbs and put it in and do the math with all that. And the sensor tells me my blood sugar every 5 minutes, so I have to keep that between 100 to 150. A normal person's is 90 to 110, but mine can go up way past that and way below that pretty easily. I used to have to break my fingers a bunch of times a day, whereas like with this sensor I don't have to do it any times a day. And they have systems where the sensor will connect to the pump and you don't really have to do anything. It's like your pancreas functioning, but a little bit more work for you. Some like it a lot, some don't. I had it for a little bit, I did not like it.
With the pandemic causing lots of stress and her supplies being so expensive, it has been a rough year for Natalie.
I was hospitalized a month ago for extreme blood sugar. Well, it's called diabetic ketoacidosis, where your blood kind of turns acidic. It starts attacking all your organs. So there was that. It's more stressful with the pandemic. You're inside a lot more, like you have to deal with it a lot more, whereas if you're like out and about, you can kind of just like ignore your chronic illness. Not ignore it, but like it's in the background, but like you're kind of just stuck with it inside. I want to say it's almost $2,000 for a 3-month supply of just my sensor. Insulin's like $800 for a 3-month supply.
Though it was a tough year for Natalie, with some perseverance and a little bit of hope, she is able to keep going strong.
You just kind of got to take it one day at a time. I mean, if you think about it too far ahead, you're going to stress yourself out and freak out. But with anything, you just kind of got to take it one day at a time. It is what it is.
Stay safe, Warriors. This is Ian Wolney reporting for WHS TV.
That was incredible. Even in tough times, she is still smiling and becoming a stronger person.
Agreed. For our last story, Jake Luffin talks about his passion for his trading card business.
WHS TV reporters Nick Diaz and Jordan Wilkinson have the story.
This year, the trading card industry has had a sudden revival from the dead. With people getting more comfortable with leaving their houses, the card market is more popular than it's ever been before. We talked to Jake Luffin about how he set up his own trading card business.
So I started collecting for about 6 months, and then after that, I was like, I need to start selling some of this. And then, it just went uphill from there, and then I've just been continuing on.
Though Jake sells a lot of cards, he also has his own collection too. With a variety of cards, Jake explains how he uses his favorite cards to collect and sell.
I got a little personal collection. I collect a lot of, I wouldn't say higher end cards, but I got a lot of cards that I'm sending out to get graded right now. I personally collect all Michael Jordan stuff. I have a whole box of Michael Jordan cards, about anywhere from $60,000 to $80,000 worth of Michael Jordan cards.
Jake didn't just get this idea out of nowhere. He explains the inspiration for his business.
So, after the pandemic hit and everything, sitting at home all alone, bored, I started watching TikTok, saw Gary Vee, and he was telling people and kids how to make money, and sports card was one of his main things. So I just told my dad about it. My dad was like, yeah, let's give it a shot.
This business isn't just a hobby. He plans on making it a part of his future.
Now, it's just a growing progress. I'm on eBay. I'm just trying to sell as much as I can. Eventually, I would like to get a storefront. It's just, right now, eBay is the best way to go because there's so many people all over that can purchase my cards instead of just the downriver area.
With the trading card business showing no signs of decline, there's a lot in store for Jake. For Nick Diaz, I'm Jordan Wilkinson reporting from WHS TV.
I absolutely love trading cards, in the past and even now.
Me too. I might even start collecting them again.
Thank you for the WHS TV staff for making this possible during this challenging time.
Come back next week for WHS TV Volume 5.